The police cruiser's lights cut through the darkness like a blade, red and blue splashing across wet asphalt, bare trees, and the blank faces of neighbors who stood barefoot on their porches. It was past midnight when the call came in. A missing girl, 17 years old, last seen hours earlier. No note, no warning, just gone. Inside a quiet suburban home, a bedroom sat frozen in time. The bed was neatly made. Her phone charger dangled uselessly from the wall. On the desk, a gaming headset lay tangled around a controller, the mic bent slightly as if yanked off in a hurry. A hoodie, too big for her, was missing from the chair where it usually hung. Detective Aaron Keller stood in the doorway, hands on his hips, scanning the room with the practiced stillness of someone who'd seen this before and hated that he had. Missing teenagers rarely started loud. They started small. A door that didn't slam, a window that wasn't broken, a silence that felt wrong. Her name was Lena Hart, 17, high school senior, honor roll student, gamer, known for her sharp wit online and her quiet nature in real life. To her parents, she was responsible, predictable, the kind of kid who texted if she was running 5 minutes late. So when her mother woke at 11:47 p.m. and found Lena's bed empty, panic didn't arrive all at once. It crept in. At first, she thought Lena had fallen asleep on the couch. Then maybe she'd gone for a late-night snack. By midnight, the house felt too quiet. By 12:15, her mother was calling Lena's phone, straight to voicemail. By 12:22, her father was checking the garage. Her bike was still there. At 12:31 a.m., they called the police. Now, as officers photographed the bedroom and bagged the headset, Keller leaned closer to the desk. On the monitor, the screen had gone to sleep, but a faint reflection showed rows of icons, games, chat apps, streaming platforms. He straightened and looked at Lena's father, who stood in the hallway, eyes red, arms folded tight like he was holding himself together. Was she talking to anyone new? Keller asked gently. Her father hesitated. Just friends, online friends. She played games, a lot of kids do. Keller nodded, but something in his gut tightened. Online friends were real friends, until they weren't. By morning, Lena's disappearance was everywhere. Social media lit up with her photo, brown hair, soft smile, eyes that looked older than 17. Flyers were shared, then reshared. Her classmates posted prayers and broken heart emojis. Candlelight vigils were planned before anyone had time to believe she might come home on her own. By noon, investigators had a timeline. Lena had been active online until 9:42 p.m. Her last message, sent through a gaming chat, was a simple line: "I'm heading out. Back soon." Back soon never came. Detective Keller and his partner, Detective Marisol Vega, spent the afternoon pulling digital records, IP addresses, chat logs, friend lists. What they found shifted the case from missing person to something darker. One username appeared again and again: NightRogue77. At first glance, it looked harmless, a veteran gamer, active in the same multiplayer game Lena loved. Their chat history stretched back months, inside jokes, strategy talk, casual banter. But as Vega scrolled, her jaw tightened. "You seeing this?" she asked. Keller leaned in. The tone changed about 6 weeks ago. Compliments slipped in, then concern, then questions that edged too close to personal. "Do your parents know you game this late? Ever feel like people don't get you? I do." Grooming didn't announce itself. It disguised itself as understanding. They traced the account. Age, 39. Real name, Marcus Hale. Location, 2 states away. Keller felt the room tilt slightly. Run him. By evening, they had more. Hale had no prior violent offenses, but his record wasn't clean. A restraining order from a decade earlier, employment gaps, short-term rentals paid in cash. He moved often, too often. And then came the hit that turned the case cold. Traffic cameras captured Lena at 9:08 p.m., walking fast down Maple Ridge Road, hood pulled low, backpack slung over one shoulder. She looked over her shoulder twice. At 10:04 p.m., another camera caught a dark sedan slowing near her. The brake lights flared. The passenger door opened. At 10:06, the car pulled away. Lena was not seen again. By the time police traced the sedan to a rental agency, Hale was already on the move. A bolo went out just after midnight. His name crossed state lines before sunrise. 300 miles away, a state trooper spotted the sedan outside a roadside motel. The parking lot smelled of diesel and rain. Hale stood beside the car, arguing with the front desk clerk about checkout time, his voice sharp, eyes darting. When officers approached, he froze. They cuffed him without a struggle. Inside the car, they found a backpack. Lena's backpack. News of the arrest exploded across the internet. Headlines screamed, "Arrest made," while adding the words, "in connection with." Careful language, legal language. No charges yet, no body found, but investigators knew what the public didn't. People don't abandon their lives without leaving something behind. During the first interrogation, Hale claimed Lena had run away from home, said she begged him for help, said he picked her up, drove for an hour, then dropped her off at a bus station. No ticket, no footage, no witnesses. His story shifted every time they pressed. Meanwhile, search teams combed wooded areas near the motel. Dogs picked up a scent, Lena's scent, leading towards an abandoned service road, then stopping abruptly, like she'd vanished into thin air, or been moved. Back at headquarters, Vega stared at a map littered with pins. She's lying, but he's not panicking. He thinks we don't have enough. Keller said nothing. He was watching a technician rewind surveillance footage from the motel's rear camera.
At 3:42 a.m., the trunk opened. At 3:49 a.m., it closed. No one else appeared on camera. The room went silent. They fast-tracked a search warrant for the motel room. Inside, the air was stale. The bed was untouched. The bathroom sink was stained with something dark. Not blood, at least not visibly, but the luminol test glowed anyway. In the trash, they found disposable gloves. In the nightstand, a folded receipt for industrial-strength cleaner. Keller felt a familiar weight settle in his chest, the moment when hope starts to slip away inch by inch. But the worst was still waiting. Digital forensics cracked Hale's phone late that night, deleted messages, encrypted apps. One video file, partially corrupted, recovered from the cloud. They played it once, then twice, then Keller shut his eyes. The video showed a basement, concrete walls, a single hanging bulb swaying slightly, casting long, warped shadows. A voice off camera, Hale's, low and calm, saying, "Just tell him you wanted to meet me." The clip ended abruptly. No timestamp, no location data. Vega whispered, "My God." Search warrants expanded, properties linked to Hale, storage units, a cabin listed under an alias. The investigation ballooned into a multi-agency operation. Every hour that passed felt heavier than the last. And then, just before dawn, a call came in from a deputy 2 counties over. They'd found something. An old property, long abandoned, locked from the outside. No power, no cameras, the kind of place people forget exists. When they forced the door open, the smell hit first. Damp earth and something else, something final. At the bottom of the stairs, beneath the swinging light, they saw the markings on the wall. Dates, names, and one written larger than the rest. Lena. But when they reached the far corner of the basement, where the floor was disturbed, the concrete freshly poured, they realized the truth was far worse than they had imagined. And whatever Marcus Hale had done, he hadn't done it alone. The concrete was still drying when they arrived. Detective Keller stood at the edge of the basement, the hum of portable lights buzzing behind him, casting harsh white glare over a floor that looked wrong, too smooth, too new for a place abandoned for decades. The date stamps on the wall felt like a countdown no one had heard ticking. Names etched in different hands, different years, different cities. And now, Lena. The forensics team worked with a careful urgency, drilling into the slab, dust rising in pale clouds. No one spoke. The sound of the drill felt louder than it should have, echoing off the concrete walls like a warning. When the core sample came up dark and damp, Keller didn't need the nod from the technician to know what it meant. They stopped the dig. Protocol mattered, warrants mattered, but time mattered more. Somewhere between the paperwork and the press releases, a 17-year-old girl had vanished into a man's life, possibly out of it forever. Upstairs, Vega paced with a phone pressed to her ear. We need everything: financials, storage rentals, vehicles, any associates, friends, co-workers, online contacts, especially online. She hung up and turned to Keller. Those names on the wall, they're not random. No, Keller said quietly. They're trophies. By noon, the basement was sealed. Evidence was cataloged. Samples were rushed to the lab. The media circled like vultures outside the perimeter, drones buzzing overhead until a judge shut the airspace down. Headlines shifted from missing teen to potential serial crime in a matter of hours. Marcus Hale sat in an interrogation room 2 states away, staring at his reflection in the one-way mirror. He asked for water, then a lawyer, then silence. But silence, Keller knew, could be broken if you hit the right nerve. They flew Hale back under heavy guard. The booking photo that hit the news showed a man who looked ordinary enough to blend into a grocery store aisle. Salt and pepper hair, tired eyes, no monster mask. That, Keller thought, was always the worst part. During the second interrogation, Keller didn't mention Lena. He slid a folder across the table instead. Emily Cross. Hale's jaw tightened, just slightly. Rachel Moore. Nothing. Dana Whitfield. A flicker, gone as almost as it appeared. Keller leaned back. These names mean anything to you? Hale smiled thinly. I talked to a lot of people online. So did they, Keller replied, before they disappeared.
Bigger than what? Keller asked. Rose smiled faintly. Oblivion. Hale listened to the updates from his cell, face unreadable. When Keller confronted him with Mara and Rose's statements, he shrugged. You're all so dramatic, he said. People disappear every day. Not like this, Keller replied. Hale leaned forward. You caught me because I let you. The trial loomed like a storm cloud. Prosecutors prepared a case that spanned years, states, lives. Families of victims came forward, their grief colliding in a courtroom that could barely contain it. Lena's parents sat in the front row every day. Her mother clutched her bracelet. Her father stared at Hale like he was trying to memorize the face of evil. But just when it seemed like the worst was behind them, a new report crossed Keller's desk. A missing persons case. Another teenage girl. Different state, different platform. Same last message. I'm heading out. Back soon. Keller felt the room tilt again. They checked the servers. Dark. They checked the known members. Accounted for. But somewhere, a copycat, or something worse, had learned from Hale's blueprint. Vega met Keller's eyes. He said he didn't do it alone. And he was right, Keller replied. Across the glass, Marcus Hale watched the courtroom empty, a faint smile tugging at his lips. Because the truth was, Hale's arrest hadn't ended the nightmare. It had only exposed how far it had already spread. And as the gavel fell, sealing his fate, one question lingered, heavy, unanswered, terrifying. How many were still out there, waiting for their turn? The call came in at 4:12 a.m. Detective Keller was awake already. He had learned over the years that sleep didn't survive cases like this. It hid from them, waited until it was safe again. It's her, Vega said when he answered. She didn't need to say the name. Alive. For a moment, Keller couldn't speak. The word echoed in his head. Alive. Fragile. Unbelievable.
He grabbed his jacket and keys, heart pounding in a way it hadn't since Lena disappeared. They met at a rural hospital just as the sun began to lift the fog off the fields. The girl sat on a gurney, wrapped in a thermal blanket, eyes hollow but open. Mud streaked her shoes. Her hands shook as a nurse offered water. She was 16. She'd escaped. Her name didn't matter yet. What mattered was how she'd survived. "She told me to run," the girl whispered, voice barely there. "She said if I waited, I wouldn't get another chance." "Who?" Keller asked gently. The girl swallowed. "The woman, the one who watched the door." Mara. The room seemed to contract around them. The girl's story spilled out in broken fragments. She'd been contacted online, different platform, different username, same script, same slow erosion of boundaries. When she agreed to meet, she thought she was meeting one person. There were three. One panicked when sirens sounded in the distance, unrelated, random, pure luck. In the chaos, Mara had unlocked the door and shoved her toward a back exit. "Go! Don't look back!" The girl ran for miles before collapsing by the road. By noon, warrants were issued. Mara Quinn was pulled from her holding cell and brought in again. This time, there was no bravado left, no rationalization. "She wasn't supposed to be there," Mara said, tears streaking her face. "Hale's rules were broken. Evan went off script. I knew it was wrong. I knew it." "You knew before," Vega said quietly. Mara nodded. "I just didn't stop it." That was the line, the one prosecutors circled in red. The truth came out piece by piece after that. Hale designed the structure, but he hadn't controlled everything. He inspired others, some loyal, some reckless, some desperate to prove themselves. When Hale was arrested, the network fractured. Some members vanished, others acted. Chaos breeds violence. The girl's testimony saved her life, and possibly others. Accounts were flagged, servers traced, homes searched. Some suspects were arrested, others weren't. The trial of Marcus Hale began 6 months later. The courtroom was packed every day. Journalists filled the benches. Victims' families clutched photographs like life rafts. Lena's parents sat together, hands intertwined, eyes fixed forward. Hale entered in a tailored suit, hair neatly trimmed, looking somehow smaller, but no less dangerous. He didn't look at the gallery. He didn't need to. The prosecution laid out the story in ruthless detail. The grooming, the manipulation, the disappearances reframed as design, not coincidence. Forensic evidence from the basement, digital trails stretching back years, testimony from Mara, from Evan Rowe, from the girl who ran. Hale listened as if bored. When it was his turn to speak, he stood slowly, hands folded. "I never forced anyone," he said calmly. "People make choices. I just offered them a place to belong." The jury didn't blink. The verdict came back unanimous. Guilty on every count. Hale was sentenced to life without parole. As the judge read the sentence, Lena's mother closed her eyes. A single tear slid down her cheek. Not relief, not peace, but something close enough to breathe again. Outside, cameras flashed. Protesters held signs. Supporters embraced. The world declared the case over. But Keller knew better. Weeks passed, then months. The task force disbanded. Files were archived. Headlines moved on. New crimes replaced old ones. The servers stayed dark.
The room felt smaller after that. Over the next 48 hours, a terrifying picture came into focus. The names on the wall weren't victims from one place or one year. They spanned over a decade. Different states, different gaming platforms, all young women, all late teens to early 20s, all reported missing under eerily similar circumstances. Each case had stalled. Each had been labeled a runaway, a bad choice, a mystery with no answers. Until now. Vega spread case files across the conference table like a grim mosaic.
He targets gamers, she said, specifically competitive multiplayer communities, builds trust over months, sometimes years. And when they age out? Keller asked. He ghosts them, Vega replied, moves on to the next. But Lena wasn't the first, Keller said. She was the mistake. Hale had gotten sloppy, or arrogant, or both. Digital forensic analysts uncovered layers of encrypted communication, burner accounts, rotating usernames, private servers hidden behind innocuous gaming clans. He wasn't just chatting, he was recruiting. Not accomplices, participants. Men and women who believed they were part of something exclusive, elite. A private online group that traded secrets, confessions, fantasies. Hale positioned himself as the leader, the mentor. He normalized boundary crossing, encouraged secrecy, discouraged outside relationships. Isolation by design. One recovered chat log made Vega feel physically sick. She says she's scared, someone wrote. Fear means she still cares, Hale replied. Just remind her why she came. They traced IPs. Some members were overseas, others were disturbingly close, within driving distance of Lena's home. The investigation widened, dragging federal agencies into the mix. Servers were seized, doors knocked on at dawn. Then came the first crack in the wall. A young man in Oregon, screen name North Star, agreed to talk. He was pale, shaking when Keller and Vega sat across from him. I thought it was role play, like dark fiction. He said it helped people work through things. Did you ever meet anyone in person? Vega asked. The man swallowed. No, but he talked about it, said he'd done it before, that it was clean. Keller's voice was low. What does it mean? The man looked up, eyes glassy. Control. The lab results came back that night. The concrete sample from the basement contained traces of human remains. Lena's DNA wasn't confirmed yet, but Keller already knew. The weight in his chest told him everything the paperwork hadn't. Still, procedure demanded certainty. As the media pressure mounted, Hale's attorney filed motions, suppress evidence, challenge warrants, delay extraditions. Every hour mattered, and Hale knew it. He sat calm in his cell, reading novels, requesting specific meals, filing complaints about the lighting. Until Vega brought him the photo. It wasn't graphic. It didn't need to be. It was Lena's bracelet, found beneath the concrete. Woven thread, frayed at the clasp. The kind you make at summer camp. Hale stared at it for a long time. You don't understand, he said finally. She wasn't supposed to end like that. Vega's blood ran cold. End like what, Marcus? He closed his eyes, said nothing. That was enough. Search teams intensified efforts around the abandoned property and nearby land. Ground-penetrating radar revealed disturbances beyond the basement, shallow graves hidden under brush, marked only by rocks arranged too neatly to be natural. They exhumed one, then another, then another. Each discovery hit the press like a bomb. Vigils turned into protests. Online communities demanded answers, accountability, reform. Parents deleted gaming apps from their children's phones overnight. But for Keller, the case stopped being about the headlines the moment Lena's parents were brought in to identify her belongings. Her mother didn't scream. She didn't faint. She just asked, was she scared? Keller hesitated, then shook his head. We don't believe she was alone at the end. It was the only mercy he could offer. As night fell, Keller sat alone in his office, staring at the map. Lines connected states like a spider's web, all leading back to Hale. But one pin bothered him. A name on the basement wall didn't match any missing persons report. No record, no file, no footprint. Just a name. M. Vega stood in the doorway. You seeing it too? Yeah, Keller said. Either he forgot one, or someone else didn't want to be found. They pulled Hale from his cell again. This group of yours, who's M?
Hale smiled for the first time since his arrest. "You really think I built all this alone?" The lights flickered. Outside, rain began to fall, hard, relentless, washing over a city that was just beginning to understand how close the darkness had been. And somewhere in the digital shadows, a private server blinked back online. A new message appeared. "He's been arrested. Do we continue?" Before anyone could stop it, a reply came through. Yes. The server went dark 3 minutes after the message was sent. 3 minutes was enough. Enough for digital forensics to capture a snapshot. Enough for a signal to bounce across continents. Enough for someone, somewhere, to realize the ground beneath them was about to give way and to start running. At headquarters, the air felt charged, like a storm trapped indoors. Screens glowed with cascading code. Analysts barked timestamps and coordinates. Coffee went untouched. Phones rang and rang again. Vega stood behind the tech team, arms folded tight. "Tell me we got something." "We got someone," the lead analyst said, "or at least their shadow." A user logged in seconds after Hale's arrest went public, masked behind multiple layers of encryption, but not perfect. No one ever was. They pulled a fragment of metadata, just enough to suggest a physical location. Not overseas, not far away. 40 miles. Keller felt his pulse quicken. "Whoever M is," he said, "they're close." A task force was assembled within the hour. Local police, federal agents, cybercrime specialists. The case had crossed a line. This wasn't just about what had happened to Lena anymore. It was about what could still happen next. Because Hale hadn't built a following by accident. He'd built a system. They began unraveling it piece by piece. The private servers weren't just chat rooms. They were hierarchies, initiation levels, rewards. Hale curated an environment where secrecy felt like privilege and obedience felt like belonging. Members were encouraged to share compromising details, confessions, fantasies, fears. Hale kept everything. Leverage. And then there were the meets. Not every member attended, only a few, chosen carefully, groomed slowly, the ones Hale trusted or thought he could control. Vega stared at a recovered document on her tablet. "He had rules," she said. "No phones, no names, no questions, and no witnesses," Keller added. They tracked the 40-mile signal to an industrial zone outside the city. Warehouses, closed factories, half-forgotten office parks from another era. The kind of place where footsteps echoed too loudly and no one asked why you were there. A warrant was approved at record speed. By the time the convoy rolled out, night had settled in, thick and heavy. Rain slicked the roads, reflecting headlights like fractured mirrors. Keller sat in the passenger seat, watching the GPS tick down. 5 miles. 4. 3. They stopped outside a nondescript building with boarded windows and a chain-link fence sagging under years of neglect. The gate hung open. Inside, the place hummed, not with power, but with activity. Cables snaked across the floor. Servers blinked in the darkness like watchful eyes. A single desk lamp illuminated a figure hunched over a keyboard. "M!" someone shouted. The figure bolted. Chaos erupted. Boots thundered. Commands echoed. Keller vaulted over a desk as the suspect crashed through a side door and disappeared into the maze of corridors beyond. The chase was brutal and fast. Metal stairwells, rusted railings, doors slammed shut just in time. Keller's lungs burned. His mind narrowed to one thought: don't let them vanish. They cornered the suspect in a loading bay, lights flaring, weapons drawn. "Hands up!" Keller yelled. The figure froze. Slowly they turned. It wasn't who anyone expected. She was young, mid-20s at most, hair pulled back, face pale, eyes wide with something that looked like terror mixed with fury. She was Mara Quinn. "M," Vega briefed.
Mara sank to her knees as cuffs clicked into place. "You don't understand," she said, voice shaking. "I tried to stop him." In the interview room, Mara's story spilled out in fragments. Tears, anger, guilt, woven together so tightly it was hard to tell where one ended and the next began. She'd met Hale online years earlier. He'd been charming, supportive, a voice when she felt invisible. He convinced her the world was cruel, that only their group truly saw people for who they were. "I thought it was just talk, dark fantasies. He said no one got hurt," she said. Vega slid a photo across the table, one of the basement wall. Mara's face collapsed. "He said they chose it," she whispered. "He said they wanted to disappear." "And you believed him?" Keller asked. "I wanted to," she replied, "because the alternative meant I was helping a killer." Mara hadn't touched anyone, not physically, but she'd helped moderate the servers, enforced rules, silenced dissent. When members expressed doubt, she pushed them back into line. She was the gatekeeper, Vega said later, not the muscle, but gatekeepers mattered. Mara gave them everything: passwords, aliases, locations. The scale of the network was staggering. Dozens of active members, hundreds more that passed through over the years. Most were disturbed but non-violent. A few weren't. One name kept resurfacing: Evan Rowe, former logistics contractor, no fixed address, present at 2 confirmed meets, last seen active on the server less than an hour before it went dark. "He's our next problem," Keller said. As if on cue, an alert flashed across the screen. A credit card hit, remote gas station 2 hours north. Rowe was running. They caught up to him just before dawn, his van boxed in on a foggy stretch of highway. He didn't resist, didn't speak, just stared straight ahead as officers pulled him out. In the back of the van, they found tools, supplies, a rolled tarp, and a phone. On it, a single unsent message: "She won't be the last." The confession came fast after that. Rowe hadn't killed Lena. That honor or horror belonged to Hale, but Rowe had helped move bodies, dig graves, clean up. He said it like he was describing a job, not a nightmare. "He told me it was necessary, that we were doing something bigger than ourselves."
Mostly. Late one night, Vega called Keller from her kitchen, voice tight. "I need you to see something." She emailed him a screenshot, a forum post buried deep, newly created account. "We remember the rules." Keller felt that familiar code settle into his bones. They traced it. The IP bounced, fragmented, cleverer than before. Whoever posted it had learned from Hale's mistakes. "Could be nothing," Vega said. "An edgelord, a troll, or a signal," Keller replied. They brought Mara back in. She swore she didn't know. Evan Rowe was already locked away. The known members were accounted for. But ideologies didn't need leaders to survive. They just needed believers. A year after Lena vanished, her parents unveiled a foundation in her name, focused on online safety, digital literacy, and early intervention. Schools invited them to speak. Parents listened. Kids asked questions they'd never asked before. Change moved slowly, but it moved. On the anniversary, Keller stood alone at the edge of the old property where it had begun. The basement was gone now, demolished, the ground leveled and reclaimed. Grass grew where concrete once hid secrets. He told himself that mattered. As he turned to leave, his phone buzzed. A notification from an encrypted app he hadn't used in months. New message request. No username, just a symbol. 3 dots in a circle. Keller stared at it, thumb hovering. He didn't open it. Some doors, once opened, never really closed. The message remained unread as he walked away, the screen growing dark in his pocket. Because the truth, the one no verdict could erase, was this: Marcus Hale was behind bars, but the silence he'd built, that was still out there, watching, waiting.